The galaxy was silent when the explorer ship Zereth 7 drifted past the Forbidden Star cluster. Its alien crew, trained for dangerous missions, had never seen anything like the giant dark object floating ahead of them. It was a massive vessel, larger than any ship recorded in the galactic archives, and its cold metal skin looked like it had survived wars that no normal species could survive. The scanners showed no lights, no energy, and no life. The ship was dead, drifting like a ghost. But the moment the captain zoomed the camera on the hull, every alien froze. There were old letters carved into the metal, scratched by hand or claw, and they spelled one word the galaxy feared: human. The crew stared, afraid to speak, because humans were not a normal species in their history books. They were Deathworlders, born in a world full of poison, storms, and predators. Legends said humans disappeared centuries ago, after surviving impossible wars and destroying threats that wiped out star systems. Now a Class-III Deathworld ship was floating here, silent, like a warning from the past. The captain, a four-eyed Vexari named Loran, gave the order to scan the ship deeper, her voice shaking. The scanners found something strange. There were claw marks inside the hull, as if something had fought something strong enough to tear metal, yet no life signs were detected anywhere. Loran gathered her crew, 5 aliens from different worlds, all trained, all experienced, but today all nervous. She told them they must enter the ship, because its technology could change the galaxy. They moved their ship closer, attaching a docking bridge, and the sound echoed like a deep heartbeat across the empty vessel. When they opened the first door and stepped inside, the silence swallowed them. The corridor was long and cold, the walls covered with burn marks and deep scratches. Some scratches were too large, too wide, as if made by creatures with massive claws. The air inside was strange, thick and heavy, as if the ship had not taken a breath for hundreds of years. Their lights flickered on the metal floor, showing trails of dried black stains, possibly blood, but the scanners could not identify the species. Every step forward made the crew more tense, because they did not know if the danger was gone or still hiding. Loran whispered to her team that the ship was not only damaged, it was wounded. As they walked further in, they entered what looked like a military hall, old weapons thrown across the floor, chairs overturned, and a cracked screen showing the remains of a warning message. One crew member, a small insect-like being, pointed to a broken sign on the wall. It showed human handprints, smeared with something dark, and a message written in their ancient language. Loran translated slowly, her voice trembling: "Do not enter deeper. It wakes in the dark." The crew looked around nervously, turning their lights to every corner, but they saw nothing. Only empty rooms and shadows stretched across the walls. Still, something felt wrong. Something felt alive, as if the shadows themselves watched them walk. They moved deeper into the abandoned vessel, their hearts beating faster with each silent step. Then, without warning, the ship groaned, a deep metallic sound like a giant exhaling after centuries. Everyone stopped. Scanners still showed no life, no movement, no heat, but the sound came again, louder, like footsteps echoing from below them, slow and heavy, metal crushing under weight. The crew raised their weapons, shaking, because whatever made that sound was big, strong, and definitely not dead. Loran whispered in fear, "Our scanners say nothing is alive here." But the footsteps kept coming from the darkness ahead, growing closer, echoing through the endless corridor like the heartbeat of a monster waking up. And that was when the lights flickered, and every shadow in the hall seemed to move at once. The part ends with Loran swallowing hard and whispering, "We are not alone on this ship." The alien explorers stood frozen as the heavy footsteps faded into the darkness. For a moment, the ship returned to silence, but the silence now felt dangerous, like something was watching them and choosing when to move. Captain Loran motioned for her crew to continue, her voice low. They had to find the control center and understand what happened to this human vessel. Their lights cut through the dusty halls as they advanced deeper inside the ghost ship. The walls showed more damage now, burned metal, cracked panels, and long claw marks that ran across the ceiling. It looked like a battle had taken place inside the ship, a battle with something brutal and strong. As they reached a large circular chamber, Loran noticed strange metal pods arranged in rows. Each pod was covered in dust and frost, and small lights blinked weakly on their sides. The crew walked closer, and their breath caught as they realized what these pods were. "Cryopods," whispered the scientist Terek, his voice shaking. "These are for long sleep. Humans used them during long missions." The crew gathered around one of the pods and wiped the frost off the glass. Inside, they saw a human face, pale but alive, eyes closed, chest rising faintly. Even after centuries, the human was still breathing slowly, still alive, still dangerous. Panic spread through the alien team. To them, humans were living weapons, creatures born on a death world, so unforgiving that even their children could survive disasters other species could not handle. One alien, Jorik, stepped back and said, "We must leave this ship before they wake. No one can control humans." But Terek shook his head. "These may be the last humans in the galaxy. Imagine what we could learn." Before they could argue more, a beeping sound echoed from the far side of the chamber. Everyone turned sharply, weapons raised. One of the cryopods was powering up, its lights turning from red to bright yellow. The temperature in the pod was rising, slowly waking someone inside. "No, no, no," Jorik whispered, trembling. A human waking up on a strange ship, surrounded by aliens he did not know, could become violent instantly. The crew hid behind fallen metal crates, their hearts pounding. They watched as the cryopod hissed open, releasing cold vapor into the air. A tall human stepped out, muscles tense, movements sharp and controlled. He looked like a soldier, trained, alert, deadly. His eyes scanned the dark chamber quickly, searching for threats. Then he whispered something in a deep voice. "Where is my crew?" The aliens dared not move. They had heard stories about human senses, how humans could hear, smell, or feel danger like predators. One wrong step could expose them. The human, Commander walked slowly across the chamber, touching the cryopods as if checking who survived. On his wrist, a small screen blinked red, showing a warning he clearly understood. He stared at it and growled, "Not again. The containment is broken." Before the aliens could understand what he meant, the entire ship's lights flickered violently. A loud alarm activated, echoing through the halls with a human voice. "Intruders detected. Biological breach in lower levels." Every alien's blood ran cold. Biological breach meant only one thing: something dangerous was free inside the ship. Something not human. Something humans had been fighting before they vanished. Rourke snapped into combat mode instantly, grabbing a metal pipe like a weapon. His breathing grew steady, controlled, ready for battle. He looked around the chamber, eyes narrowed. Someone was here, someone hiding, someone he needed to find before the threat did. The aliens pressed themselves against the wall, trying not to make a sound, but the hall behind them creaked, and a metal panel fell to the floor with a loud crash. Rourke spun toward the sound, weapon raised, eyes sharp like a wild predator. He took a single step forward, and the explorers knew they had been discovered. "Come out," Rourke said, voice calm but dangerous. "I don't want to hurt you, but something else on this ship will." The part ends with the alien crew stepping out slowly, trembling, unsure if the human would attack them or protect them. Commander Rourke watched the aliens step out from behind the fallen panel. His eyes were sharp, alert, trained to read danger in every movement. The aliens lifted their hands slowly to show they carried no weapons. They were scared, shaking, unsure how the human would react. Rourke did not move at first. Humans had a natural instinct to protect themselves, especially on Deathworld-class missions. He studied the 5 aliens with a cold, steady gaze. None of them looked hostile, but fear could make any species dangerous. Captain Loran stepped forward carefully. She introduced herself in simple words, hoping the human would understand. Rourke listened without expression, his mind working fast. He realized they were not enemies, just explorers who had stumbled into the wrong ship at the wrong time. He lowered the metal pipe slightly, but did not drop it. Then he spoke slowly. "This ship, it's not safe. You should not be here." The aliens exchanged worried looks. Terek, the scientist, asked softly, "What happened here? What attacked your ship?" Rourke took a long breath and looked around the cryochamber. His voice was calm but heavy with old memories. "We were carrying something we should never have touched." The aliens leaned in, afraid of what he meant. Rourke continued, "A parasite. It came from a death world site. We thought we contained it, but it adapted. It killed fast. Too fast." His jaw tightened as he remembered. "We sealed ourselves in cryopods to wait for rescue, but no one came." Before the aliens could speak, the ship shook violently. A loud clicking sound echoed from the vents above them. Rourke's eyes widened for the first time. "It's still alive," he whispered. "The parasite. It survived." The aliens panicked, raising their scanners, but the scanners still showed nothing, no life sign, no heat signature, no movement. The parasite had adapted to avoid detection. Rourke grabbed a small device from a nearby panel. It flickered with old human code and weak energy. It hides in the dark, in the vents, in the cold places, he said. It waits until something warm passes by. The crew understood something terrifying. If the parasite attacked humans' Deathworlders, it must be extremely deadly. And now all of them were trapped inside the same ship with it. Rourke moved toward the exit tunnel. We need to get to the command deck. Before it spreads, the aliens followed him carefully. Even though they feared him, they feared the parasite more. Rourke moved like a trained soldier, silent and fast. Every few steps he listened to the walls. He knew the creature was hunting. In the next corridor, the lights flickered. Black stains covered the floor, dragged along the metal as if a body had been pulled. Jorik shivered and asked, "Why didn't it kill you before you froze?" Rourke answered without turning his head. "I was the last one awake. I locked myself inside the cryochamber before it reached me." He pressed a button beside a sealed door. It opened slowly with a groan. Inside was a room with broken armor pieces and torn uniforms. Human weapons lay scattered across the ground. Some were bent, some burned. "They fought until the end," Rourke whispered, touching a damaged helmet. A clicking noise suddenly echoed from a dark vent above them. The sound was sharp, hungry, and fast. Rourke raised his pipe instantly. "Stay behind me," he ordered. "It's close." The aliens formed a tight group behind him. Trembling, Rourke stepped forward slowly, eyes scanning the ceiling. The vent cover bent outward, metal groaning softly. Something was inside, something waiting. The ship's lights flickered again, plunging the room into darkness for one breath. Then the creature dropped, a black shape falling fast from the ceiling. Claws stretched out. The aliens screamed, but Rourke moved faster than any of them expected. He swung the metal pipe with all his strength. The creature hit the floor, screeching, its body twisting, but it wasn't dead. It pushed itself up with unnatural speed, its body long and thin like living shadow. Rourke shouted, "Run to the command deck, now!" And as the aliens ran, Rourke stepped between them and the parasite, ready to fight alone if he had to, because humans, even one human, never back down on a Deathworld-class threat. The part ends with Rourke facing the creature in the flickering light, his weapon raised, eyes burning with the same fierce survival instinct that made humans legends. The creature lunged toward Rourke with terrifying speed, its thin black limbs twisted like shadows, claws scraping against the metal floor. Rourke stepped back, raising the metal pipe, his body reacting out of pure instinct. His movements were sharp, fast, and controlled. The movements of someone trained to survive impossible situations. The aliens watched from the corridor behind him, frozen in fear. None of them had ever seen a human fight before, and now they were watching a single human face, a creature that their scanners could not even detect. Rourke struck the parasite across its head. The hit echoed through the room like thunder, but the creature did not fall. Instead, it screeched, its jaw opening wider than any natural shape, as if it was made of liquid darkness. The ship lights flickered again. Every flash made the parasite look like it was in a different place, moving too fast. Rourke growled under his breath. "It's adapting again." The alien stepped back. Shaking, Jorik whispered, "He is fighting a monster." "Alone," Terek answered. "He is human." "That's what they do." The parasite leaped again, claws slicing through the air. Rourke dodged by inches, rolling across the floor and grabbing a broken metal shield from the ground. He lifted it just in time to block another strike. The impact bent the shield, but it saved his life. Rourke pushed forward with the shield, slamming the parasite into the wall. It shrieked loudly, the sound vibrating through the entire ship. The walls themselves shook, dust falling from the ceiling. Loran shouted, "We need to help him." Rourke snapped back at them. "Stay away. It targets warm bodies." "More of you means more targets." The aliens hesitated, then nodded slowly. They knew he was right. Their presence would only make things worse. Rourke swung the metal pipe again, hitting the parasite's leg. It staggered, but recovered instantly. The creature moved like a nightmare, shifting, bending, stretching unnaturally. Rourke realized the fight would never end if he stayed. He needed to get the aliens to the command deck and restart the ship's main systems. That was the only way to activate the human weapons and defenses. He yelled, "Go! Go now! Follow the blue lights on the walls. They lead to the command deck." The aliens ran as fast as they could. Their footsteps echoed in the dark corridor. Rourke stayed behind, blocking the creature, buying them time. The parasite lunged again, and Rourke ducked. He rammed his shoulder into the creature's chest. Knocking it backward, it hit the wall and slid across the floor. Limbs twisting, Rourke didn't wait. He turned and sprinted after the aliens, his breath sharp and steady. The creature screeched behind him and crawled into the vents again. Rourke cursed under his breath. It's hunting. It will try to cut us off. The aliens reached the command deck first, a large room with cracked screens and dead controls. Lights flickered weakly, struggling to stay alive. Loran tried to activate a console, but nothing worked. It's completely dead, she said, voice shaking. Rourke burst into the room moments later. He slammed a hand on a hidden panel. The deck lit up with a low hum. Human tech, he said, only responds to human signals. The room filled with faint blue light as systems slowly revived. Warning symbols blinked across the screens. Power core unstable. Parasites detected. Crew unaccounted. The aliens looked at Rourke, confused and terrified. Can we survive this? Loran asked. Rourke stared at the screen, jaw tight. Yes, but only if we act fast. He began activating defense systems manually, his fingers flying across damaged controls. Suddenly, a vent on the far wall rattled violently. The parasite was coming. Rourke grabbed a fallen human rifle from the floor. Even though it had little power left, he looked at the aliens with fierce determination. If I fail, you run. Humans don't quit, even when death waits. The vent burst open. Metal flying across the room, the creature launched itself toward them in a blur of darkness. Rourke stepped forward, weapon raised, eyes burning with pure Deathworld instinct. The part ends with the human firing the first shot as the creature strikes, light and shadow clashing in the command deck as the final battle begins. The alien crew stood frozen as the human ship began to wake up. Soft blue lights glowed along the walls, and a deep humming sound filled the air. Kira, the leader of the alien explorers, felt her heartbeat rise. She had seen many strange things in space, but nothing like this. The screens on the walls suddenly turned on. Lines of human text appeared, then shifted into the alien language. A calm voice echoed through the corridor. Warning, vessel awakened, crew status unknown. Visitors detected. Zyrek, the smallest member of the team, stepped back in fear. It knows we are here, he whispered. This ship, it is thinking. Kira tightened her grip on her scanner. Stay calm, it has not attacked us yet. Then a door slid open with a loud hiss. Inside was a large room filled with glowing podstall, metal capsules lined up in perfect rows. Each pod had a human figure inside, suspended in blue liquid. The explorers stared in shock. Are they alive? Asked Ra, lost. Kira walked closer. Her device scanned through the pod wall. Yes, she whispered. Each human is sleeping, but their bodies show signs of extreme adaptation. Radiation resistance, bone density, reflex amplification. Zyrek's eyes widened. These humans are modified to survive a Class-III world. No wonder this ship is so advanced. Before anyone could respond, one pod lit up brighter than the rest. The human inside began to move. The blue liquid drained out, and the pod slowly opened. The explorers stepped back, horrified yet unable to look away. A human stepped out, tall, strong, with calm dark eyes that scanned the room. His movements were slow but controlled, like someone waking from a long, deep sleep. Kira took a shaky breath. Do you understand us? The human nodded. My name is Commander Elias Ward, he said quietly. Who are you, and why are you on my ship? Kira explained everything: the ghost signal, the abandoned readings, the empty corridors. Elias listened without interrupting. His expression stayed serious but not hostile. When she finished, Elias looked around at the empty ship. This vessel was part of Project Titan, he said softly, a mission to explore Deathworld's worlds too dangerous for normal life. Rollos frowned. But your crew, where are they? Ilias's voice grew heavy. Most of them never made it. A Deathworld Class-III planet struck us with storms stronger than nuclear blasts. We escaped, but our systems were destroyed. The ship put us into deep sleep to protect us. Kira looked at the rows of pods. How long? Elias touched the side of a pod, his jaw tight. 300 years. The explorers gasped. Even Zyrek, usually full of fear, felt a sudden respect. Elias looked at them again. The ship awakened me because it detected life on board your life. It assumed you were rescuers. Kira swallowed hard. We were only explorers. But now that we know the truth, we want to help." Elias studied them for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Then we have work to do. This ship can still fly if we repair the main core. My crew can be awakened, slowly, safely.